Hi there again, it's Vivian Moon, Vila Loon on YouTube. About to begin our video on disclosure therapy, part 2. So this follows on from cosmic disclosure, but really brings it down to the here and now, in so much as we're looking at the processes that are being operated, the policies which we're operating on this planet, the frequencies that we're being farmed for, in our sentient frequencies we're being farmed for, and we're looking at essentially some of the ways in which that's experienced. So in the same way that we're in this feedback cycle between maths and entropy, so in the same way that we are farming animals and food as humans, we are in turn being farmed, and very much the same way that we control or limit the information that's given to animals in order to make them easier to farm for specific products. Humans are having their information limited to them in order for them to be farmed in certain ways to produce certain products. Okay, so the products that we create are food for higher dimensional beings or other dimensional beings, and essentially we only have to look at what is going on around us to find out what is going on above and below. And so there's a lot of history to look through in there. So recorded history is the start of that feedback cycle, where the order, or recorded history, being that we are subjugated planet to a greater or lesser extent, and there are different phases of that subjugation that we have gone through leading up to where we are now. So we are still approaching the one of the final phases in the subjugation of entropy. Okay, so the means in which we influence populations of insects nowadays would be a good study on how we are ourselves being influenced. And so there's the Oxitec principle, which is one of the main techniques by which we currently install RNA sequences into wild populations of mosquito. So we create domestic mosquitoes with certain values that make it easy for us to insert RNA sequences into wild mosquito populations. So the same way there are domesticated humanoids on this planet which got certain virtues which make it easier for them to insert RNA sequences into the human, or the human DNA sequence, which is so in order for the powers that be, the order, to have order over everything, there has to be something that is not in order for it to feed upon as it cycles, for it to create itself, create its laws, create its mathematics from. So within all planets, all areas, all life, all of the cosmic geography, there is the seed of entropy, and depending on how you relate to yourself, you will either be relating to that entropy, or you'll be relating to that maths. So myself, I think I'm probably more aligned to the side of entropy than maths, and so it's a world we have that's built on mathematics. So it's not usual for the voice of entropy to be expressed in any sort of public way. It's not something that is being cultured. Entropy is not being cultured on this planet. It's order and maths are being cultured on this planet, and the way that's been done is through organisms that have been put here to basically two things: to farm the creation of various technologies for which they can be later fed upon, and it's also for the farming of certain sentient frequencies that are also food. So there's the influence of these of order, the influence of these genetically engineered, what you would call genetically, you could say. So obviously this isn't the only place in the cosmos where life is existing on this integer of density, and so there are places where evolution has where entropy has escaped order, entropy has escaped mathematics to an extent that they are now able to coexist. Okay, and then there are other places where order is completely controlled, where order's got the upper hand over entropy, and it's tied entropy down. Okay, and so this is Earth, and I'm working towards a future that is essentially feasible for both order and chaos to create useful evolutionary steps in a new direction, in a direction that I'd like to see that we may be able to join a larger cosmic community outside of this planet. So I think that there are other places where this battle has played out, and I believe that there are influences on this planet, and I think that one of the roles we could be doing on this planet is, for myself and my own therapy, is to basically harmonise forces of order and chaos, so that we have a future that's existing and worth and valuable that creates valuable sentient frequencies for organisms in other planes of existence. So there's a number of factors involved here historically which are basically really not very nice, and they're going to really upset people, and when they realise, when it's sort of demonstrated how the wall has been pulled over many people's eyes, and why, I think some of that part is quite painful. Some of that's like part of the kata. We've got to break down some of the previous conditioning which may really upset some people, and there's a massive agenda set to do anything that can be done to avoid that happening. It's actually illegal to mention the subterfuge in many parts of the world, especially England and America, because this is where some of the worst policies have been operated in reference to what's going on with the human sentience and the frequencies that are being operated here. And so you need to create various frequencies, and we'll talk about that more in our next video. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon.